What a piece of junk!
This is the Shattered Order Podcast.
Go switch off!
If you're looking for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, information, and theory crafting, you've found the podcast you're looking for. With your hosts, Goodnight Punk and Windkiller Inc.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Cool.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 136th episode of the Shattered Order Podcast. I'm your host, Goodnight Punk, and with me, as always, is my good friend Wink. What's going on, dude?
Good evening, Punk. How's it going?
It's good, man. It's been rainy here the past few days. I've been stuck inside enjoying the view. Of course,
Very
rainy
nice.
here is not like on the East Coast because rainy here is still like 65, so it's nice rainy.
Yeah.
It's not like making a coat of ice falling off my house, so that's nice. I don't
Our
know how
weather's
things there.
just been random. Our weather's always random. We had snow not too long ago, and then it was like 65 and sunny, and now the weather's cold and crappy again.
Yeah, that's and that stinks. At least I know what to expect here. That's fun there though. It's like spin the roulette. Are you gonna wear shorts today, or are you gonna wear pants?
That's pretty much what it is. It's stupid. I hate it. Yeah. This came up in chat not too long ago. But I am drinking myself a delicious kombucha tonight.
Oh yeah.
I noticed
Nice.
that I used to drink those all the time on the podcast, but I noticed that recently you became a kombucha fan.
I did. I never had it before a few weeks ago, and I bought it not knowing what it was. And then I started reading about it before I drank it, and I'm like, maybe I should have just drank it, because now I'm having second thoughts. But
That's
I
fair.
drank
That's
it,
fair.
and I liked it, so I'm down. I'm down for the kombucha, or the booch,
Good
as some
stuff.
people call it.
Yeah, we need a kombucha sponsor, or
Oh man.
like if
Could you
any of
imagine-
y'all have sponsor ideas, bring them to us. But a kombucha sponsor, that would be on point.
Can you imagine crates of kombucha in your garage?
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Oh, that would be
Yeah.
so good.
I'd be the only one drinking them in my house. I know that.
That's nice. I'd be the only one drinking them in my house as well.
I don't know. Let the dogs get into it and see what happens. Does have a
Yeah,
little
that's
alcohol to it.
Yeah, indeed. So, we forgot to do something last week. I've been half brain dead, so I wanted to run through and thank our Patreons one at a time, because we do that every month and totally skipped over it last week. So, big, huge shout out and thank you to Potterhead76, Sima, Supreme Vengeance, J-Pod, Elton Blues, Lower Zach, Dorian Blade, Randy Marsh, Jared T. Electro Duval, Azazel, Chicken Bottom, BMZR, Quoth, Rooskies, Ben_NZ, Z-Splash, STL Brews, Recoil, War Bobby, Boo Earns, Dr. Sheesith, Turner Viobi, Tyrek Thorn, Ringer, Rock, Painted Land, Bubba Finn, Jitsu Jet M4, The James, Seafront 02, Dean Paxton, Gorstag, Bucky B, Lauren Dethane, Michael Bluth, Infidel Sizer, Darth Molly, McMole2, Sleepy Bulldog, Ron Paul Bunyan, and Han Pikey. Whew.
You know what? You were going so well there, and then there was a point where you said something and it sounded like that was the end because you said it with a pause in it, and then you went on for like another 10 seconds. So not completely flawless, but way better than normal. So
yeah, that I figured maybe doing it earlier in the show, I would be able to spout it off a little bit quicker. Not too bad. So big thank you to all those guys. If you would like to support the show, patreon.com/shatteredorder. We would love it if you would support us there. Of course, you can support us on Twitch. You can sub there. Follow us on YouTube. Do all that sort of stuff. We would love you guys forever. Also, there are other options. Like if you want a really great audiobook, I've been enjoying Arena a lot because I get to use my favorite Star Wars character, Grandmaster Yoda. However, thanks to Audible, Thrawn has become one of my favorite characters of Star Wars. He's just absolutely awesome. If you've read the books or listened to the audiobooks, you totally understand. But if you would like to figure out just how awesome Thrawn is, I highly suggest was it audibletrial.com/shatteredorderpod. No. /shatteredorder. No pod. audibletrial.com/shatteredorder. You can go get a free audiobook with a 30-day trial. Cancel within 30 days. Don't cost anything, and you get to keep the free book. So that is a pretty awesome deal. Speaking of ways to support the show,
so
what have you been working on?
I have something, unfortunately, for the audio podcast. You guys aren't going to see this, but for everyone that's here in the live chat on Twitch today, I have a reveal of a working idea for my Bleedo shirt. So I want to show you guys in chat what this looks like and see if you can see what I'm going for here. Wink finally saw it, but it took me forever to get him to see it. So I'm curious if it's a bad idea or if people can actually see it, and I'm just, the 4 people that I showed it to just could not. So
okay,
let me see here. Here is the picture.
All right.
And basically that is the idea for the shirt. Now, if you're looking at it wondering what in the world am I looking at and haven't already figured out what that blood spatter is, yeah, that is supposed to be the profile of Greedo's head. So if you can see Bleedo's head in the blood pool, please say so in chat, because if not, I'm really gonna have to redo a lot here. So I'm curious what you guys see. If you see it or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll go from there. So
and those
Twitch
of you listening,
hope you enjoy it.
And if you're listening, you can go to discord.me/shatteredorder. We'll post it up in the announcements, and you guys can go vote on it. Maybe we can do like thumbs up, thumbs down thing, just to vote on whether you see it or not.
All right, I like it.
All
and
right,
I got
cool.
one last thing to do right here before we go into what we did this week. And I want to say this big shout out from my friend Virus from the swamp back in the Republic. Dagobah just hit 25 consecutive territory wins, which I think is impressive. And those are my boys, so I wanted to shout them out. Good job, guys. That's pretty awesome.
Congrats.
25 in a row. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, it is. Very nice. All right. We'll segue into this.
Hey guys, what did you do in Swoga this week?
So you mentioned territory war. I would also like to give a shout out to another guild, a guild that finally got all 45 stars in Lightside territory battles. Shout out to the Shattered Order. What? Took long enough.
What?
We finally got there. Finally knocked out the 45 stars in Lightside territory battle. So that was very, very exciting for us as a guild this week. Now, onto the dark side, trying to get to 48.
I'm down. I want it. I know we've hit 47, but I think we were way off on that 48. So I don't know if we have the GP yet to get there, but I know we're getting close. So I don't know what the GP number is if you're doing
I'm not sure
perfect
either.
combat missions, but I think it's somewhere near 200, which is where we're getting to. So maybe soon.
So one thing that's helped us so much in territory battle, especially officers and the stress and everything, we basically have, this is kind of a detour, but we basically have 5 groups that are kind of color coordinated, which is just a way to reference them basically. But we have 5 groups, and we've divided those groups up so that immediately whenever we go into a phase, we can announce, hey, if you're in this group, you deploy here. If you're in this group, you deploy here. And it's set up so that by doing it this way, we can get the 45 stars without really having to worry about holding or, holding deployment in one and, anything like that. It has really simplified the process so much less stress on us officers and guildmates, just being able to deploy early. Right when they do their combat missions, everything. It has been such a lifesaver. Whoever came up with that was a fantastic
I know who it is,
idea.
and I will shout them out right now. So thank you to FN2187 from Trolling Empire.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He hooked us up with what he does, and he helped set it up for us and let it go from there, and we keep it updated, and we're doing it for ours. So FN,
Indeed.
with your help, we were able to get 45 stars this week, so we appreciate you, man.
Heck yeah, for sure. All right. So, other stuff that I did personally this week in Swoga, I completed some quests. I am doing the Jedi Master quest, and the first one for that is you have to complete the Roque T in the top 3 times. So we've been alternating raids in which, like one raid we'll do it where we entirely just try to help people complete these quests. So everybody posts 0 except for the people who are trying to complete the quest, and we basically alternate if people are on top 3. We've had some people that need top 10 for quests. So this has really expedited the process because just waiting that out can be a total pain. And, like I said, we alternate. So then the next raid, it's free for all like normal. And this has really been beneficial for a lot of people in the guild, just not having to babysit if you don't really care about raiding or whatever. So that's been awesome. Then I completed the second phase of the Jedi Master. And if you're stuck on that, I believe it's light side for H or F. I can't remember. But you have to kill 200 separatists. And there is one of those light side missions. It's 6 energy, and there are, I believe, 12 separatists that you kill in that battle. So I basically just went in with Lando and just hit auto, and he would, AoE everyone out, 3 attacks, done. And just did that over and over. I mean, it took like 10 or 15 minutes to knock all of those out. So
Which quest
was
is that?
super awesome. That is the Jedi Master 2 out of 4. So the second tier there. That's one of the things that you have to do.
Wait, so is there a Jedi Master quest after the Jedi Knight one?
Yes.
Oh my. Okay. Okay,
Yes.
good to know.
That's why there's only 4 tiers. I think I mentioned this a while back whenever I figured it out, but I am finally on the one where I get the Grandmaster Yoda little portrait. I'm so excited. It's going to take a little bit. I have to get 100 stars from territory battles, so it's going to take a little while to get that one, but I cannot wait to get that one knocked out. That'll be awesome. So a farming update. Basilisk Sean, I am up to 16 out of 100. That's Darkside Basilisk Sean. Ambo, 48 out of 85. Finished Candace Ordo. Onto Aura Singh. Her and Sith Marauder are the only 2 Cantina farms I have left. And the shuttle, I only made it to 37 out of 80. I did no refreshes because I just do not care. And then the other thing...
That's not even unlock, is it?
No, it's not unlock.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't do any refreshes on mine, and I'm much closer than you were. What were you farming? What node? Because I know the more energy. Well, I mean, we talked about it. It doesn't matter over time.
Yeah, it was the same. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I was mainly farming Jedi Knight Anakin's ship, but yeah, 37 out of
Yeah.
80, so that's
I guess
fine.
I'm not
I
that
also,
much further
I
ahead
did,
of you. I'm 48 out of 80 on my alt.
I'll let you explain. I'll let you explain banking energy here in a second, but I didn't bank any energy for it, so it was just whatever I had that I used throughout the day. But the other one last thing I did this week was I got the stuff that I need to craft Mark 12 furnace, which is the 6,500 health piece. And if I craft this and put it on Jolie Bendo, Jolie will climb all the way up to 62,900 health. I am seriously considering it because that is a crap ton of health, especially considering the bonuses that he gets from it. So I might be doing that soon.
Gotcha.
So, I'm going to step away for 1 second and let you tell everyone what you did in Swaga.
All right. Well, I'll skip the first one. Let's go on farms. So, Badstilla, not even close to where Wink is. 16 out of 100, he said. I'm 66 out of 85 doing 2 refreshes a day, which is still pretty good if you go back and listen to the numbers I had last week. All those second refreshes for some reason are getting like let's say 4 to 6. I had one that was 7 out of 8 this week. I mean, my Badstilla drops have been awesome on the second time I did them in the day, my first refresh, but 66 out of 85 is where I'm at. So still a little further to go, but luckily, you know that awesome feeling you get in a week when you finish a hard node farm. I finished Imbo this week, so yeah, there went that hard node farm. Imbo is done, and Django, well on his way there. I got him 22 out of 100, so finished the Houndstooth way before Django, but that was because of drops and because of the event that was going on and getting some drops from that. But Django's 22 out of 100, so I almost have every bounty hunter finished, which I'll talk about that and what that means for me here in a little bit. But yeah, so Django is the one I'm going with right now, Badstilla, and I started doing Range Trooper. So I'm doing Range Trooper until the new hard node comes out, because I can almost guarantee that Chuhani or Karth is probably going to be a hard node, maybe even both, and I would assume and hope that's next week. I mean, we're well into the area where those things should be farmable now, so hopefully next week I'll be moving off of what I'm starting now, but I'm starting Range Trooper now. It was between him and Goggles Chewie, as our good friend Chewbacca likes to call him. It was between Vandor, Chewbacca, and Range Trooper, and I just don't have Kira geared, so I'm not so worried about Vandor, Chewbacca right now. But I do have plenty of good Imperial Troopers, so Range Trooper it is, and maybe I'll just keep going with him when whoever drops, unless Karth and Juhani both drop on hard nodes, which would kind of suck, but it's happened before, so gotta prepare for the worst. I finished Kit Fisto. Just super exciting news. Kit Fisto is done. I mean, what a long, arduous journey it's been to get Kit Fisto to 7 stars. How long has this game been out? That's how long it took me to get Kit Fisto to 7 stars. So
3.5 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years to take Kit Fisto to 7 stars. It is fine. The grind is complete. But I wanted to say, I'm now farming my last Cantina character, which is Lando Calrissian, which seems easy enough, but I'll tell you this. It is probably the hardest farm that I've ever had. And you want to know why?
Why? Because he's terrible?
Because he's 2 stars, and if I want to go to the Cantina node from his character screen, I have to click the promote button and then find, which is right next to the promote button again, which would take him off of 2 stars to 3 stars. And I can tell you this, I have specifically stared at that screen so many times to avoid accidentally bumping him from 2 to 3 stars, But I just know that one day I'm going to go in there without thinking and hit promote, and my 2-star Lando will be ruined. So I think
Nice.
I just had an epiphany while I was talking about this. I don't have to. It doesn't have to be hard. I should just go in with my energy into the actual table and go to his node, because then I don't have to worry about the promote button. So I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. But 3 times this week I almost promoted my 2-star Lando, and it would have been very painful. You know that what's that? The Wilhelm scream, the very popular scream. That's the one I would have probably yelled out if I accidentally promoted him. But yeah,
Nice.
whatever.
Nice.
I saved this one till you were back because I knew you'd want to know.
All right.
If you didn't already. Future of the Order, the guild my alt is in. We beat Heroic Sith this week on our 4th try.
Nice.
So,
Heck yeah.
congratulations to everyone in Future of the Order. It was really awesome to be able to hit that milestone with you guys, and the one of the more impressive things is we had 99 million galactic power in the guild.
That's awesome. That's really good.
So we were able to hit the Heroic Sith with 99 million galactic power guild, and it was quite a feeling, I'll tell you. It went all the way up till there was like 3 hours left, but we were, oh man, nothing's more arduous than trying to send in your entire roster on a very large GP account and try to maximize the damage for every single team you send in there, because that took me like an hour and a half against Treya.
So here's you said against Treya. So you weren't able to use the Finn team to beat it.
The person that did it finished off the last 30% of phase 3. That's when he was able to finally get in. But that was the first time he ever got it to work. And he's the only person with a 7-star 3PO. So, you know, it's good to know that we got 30%. We got 70% into phase 3, because we'll talk about Finn here soon. And that might be that's going away. So we need to be able to finish off that last 30% without Finn. So it's nice to know we got 70% into phase 3 before we even use that. So hopefully we could do that again. So
very nice.
Got a question for you, because I will mention that I am 2-0 in Grand Arena this week and looking for another championship. How are you doing?
I was 1-1 this week. Skeltrix and I finally got matched up. This is the second time we've been in the same Grand Arena, but the first time we actually got matched up. And let's see, there were 3 teams of his that I had to take 2 battles on, and he was able to beat all mine in 1. So he ended up winning by 16 points, I think.
Oh, dang. Very nice. That really must have been a fun one then.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest.
Not losing it, I guess.
he sandbagged his defense pretty hardcore and went all offense basically, and yeah.
That's what's scaring me right now in my championship, because I looked at the teams and there was. Let me tell you some of these leads. This is just, people might be interested to hear this. I don't know, but I went in and I looked at his defense and I'm like, okay, he's trying hard to beat my defense and not worry about his offense. He has a POW lead with Sith Assassin, a Gear 6 Rose, Ugnaught, and Night Sister Acolyte. That's a team. A Sith Trooper lead. What else you got here? Sith Assassin lead. A First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter lead. I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Interesting. To comment on something Joker said in chat about, I said Skeltrix, sandbag his defense, but still took me 2 tries on multiple teams. Multiple reasons. One, I was doing it at like midnight after work, and I really wasn't paying much attention, wasn't using the teams I should have been. 2, one of them was like fleet, and I go pretty heavy offense, especially like whenever I just don't have time to really deal with Grand Arena. I go super heavy on offense and just basically super heavy on defense and kind of count on my defense winning it for me essentially, and just because it saves me time whenever I don't have much time to deal with it anyway, and that's kind of how I go about it. So, yeah, it's not really paying attention basically. So,
gotcha. Last thing.
Fleet was close though. I got screwed on Fleet. That one irked me. I should have won that, but
Fleet always irks me because I go in with a team that I think should just absolutely destroy whatever I'm fighting, and somehow like a ship will like dodge the last attack that will kill it, and then it'll bring in a reinforcement and just turn the tide. It's super annoying.
Yeah, that's very annoying. Well, I mean, Skeltrix actually saved his Falcon for offense, which I was not expecting, but
that's what I do.
Made taken out. Really interesting. Nah,
yeah,
I
try to block the ships enough that I've never been full cleared yet. So I usually try to block the ships and then put crappy ones in there. So, but the guy, the first arena match or Grand Arena match I did, they didn't set a defense and didn't attack, so that was easy. Second one, they didn't get through Revan on my bottom section, even though they finished the top section. They didn't finish off Revan on my bottom section, and I full cleared them, one-shot everything. So, yeah. I try to keep them out of my ships, but if they get there, whatever, you earned it, take it. But I want to save. I'm terrible at ships, so I save what's good on offense for offense, or else I may lose by not beating ships. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you've deflated me.
I've got a.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just say I'm pretty deep on ships, so I'm usually confident that I can win by putting my my arena fleet on defense. So that's usually the way I go about it. But
makes sense. I was gonna say you deflated me because I am now 1 gear level and 1 piece away from getting old Ben to gear 12.
Woo!
I know.
I know
you're excited, and I would never have done it if it wasn't for this quest. I'm at Jedi Knight 3 of 4, about to go into 4 of 4, and then you told me there's a Jedi Master quest, so I'm going to be continuing this forever. So I am now 3 out of 8 on the Jedi quests, looking for 4 out of 8 here soon. So there's that. But
very
old
nice.
Ben, 1 stun gun from gear 11. The quest continues.
Cool. Good luck. I've been storing I have been hoarding everything. I've basically done nothing really with my roster this week. Oh shoot, there was something else that I did really exciting this week. I don't remember what it was though. Oh, mods. I got two mods with over 20 speed. One of them that started as green and one that started as blue. So that was super awesome.
That does sound awesome. I have had terrible luck trying to get speed procs on mods in the past 2 weeks. Like, terrible. So bad.
Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah, it's painful. It's okay.
Indeed. Yeah, oh well. All right, you ready for the next topic?
I'm totally ready for the next topic.
Since everyone loves a good poll, let's dance through the results and see what you thought this week.
Alrighty, time for the poll.
All right.
And the poll this week is a rose for my Valentine. And big shout out to Tyrick Thorne, who has been helping, or sorry, not Tyrick Thorne, Frostvirus.
Frostvirus.
Tyrick Thorne, Frostvirus. They're
FFTT.
Exactly. You see
alliteration.
where I'm going with that. So big shout out for helping us out with the poll this week. takes a little bit of stress off of us, and yeah, helps us get it out on time, which is always good. All right, so what is question number 1?
All right, so question 1 was, the return of Territory Wars brings with it some modified updates. Which is your favorite? Now, they kind of mix and match some of the previous Territory War bonuses to include Mace Windu this time, Cup, Count Dooku, and the clones. So, we asked which was your favorite and which one you thought was the best. Turns out that a lot of people thought their favorite was also the best. So,
very cool.
We had 158 responses. Let's say 75 people think Mace Windu's Battle Attuned Master of the Force is their favorite, and 71 of those people also think it's the best. So, excuse me. Mace Windu, that's a guy in our guild. Mace Windu ran away with it, like easily ran away with it. And it's not, he does a lot of work. Like, I'm not surprised to see him. My personal favorite, and probably not yours because I don't think you have them geared, but the clones.
Definitely not mine.
The clones gear 12, man, they can hit like Mack trucks. It's ridiculous when they have this bonus. So my pick would have been the clones. 39 other people picked the clones as the second. It became the second favorite by results, and 50 people said it's the best. So more people think it's the best than people that think that it's their favorite. So I would guess that maybe there's people some there similar to where you are, where they didn't pick it as the best, but or they didn't pick it as their favorite, but they did pick it as one of the best. So
I do admit it's quite good, but it's because of what CG did. It's not because they're clones. However, for me, it's Mace Windu. I'm with the community.
And then a lot of people put their favorite as none. That was the third. 27 people. And the best, 22 people said none. So no bonus is better than the other two. I don't know that's...
Some people do hate the bonuses, which is weird. But...
If that's why they voted for those things, I would understand. I get that. So throwing out none, the third best one was actually Count Dooku with a Sinister Spark with 10 votes. And fourth for favorite was Cup with 7 votes. And then going by best, I think the same people did the best as those two, because there was 10 votes for Count Dooku as best and 5 for Cup as the best. So, interesting. My vote goes to the clones. Well, my favorite is the clones, and then best would have to go to either Mace or the clones. So,
that's fair enough. So next question is, hopefully you've gotten to play with the B1 battle droid. What do you think? And this was basically a 1 to 5 scale, 5 being you love and 1 being you hate. And there were only, out of 158 responses, only 11 total responses for 1 and 2 combined. 36% of people, which was the highest percent, had 4, and then 30% said 5, and 27% said 3. So this is a character that's already being overwhelmingly liked, that people are a big fan of, and I'm very excited because this was a pretty cool droid that was in the movies, that was pretty prominent in the movies, and it's such an interesting mechanic. It's totally different. So I'm kind of right there. I'm at a 4 also. What about you?
I don't have the other droids to go with him right now. So I would probably put a 4 too, and I might put a 5 if I had other droids to go with him ready to go, because I think he'll be that important with that team.
I agree.
The two interesting things about B1 that we've found out since his marquee. One, his interaction with Chewbacca works, since he's always 1 health. he's always the lowest, so he'll always be guarded.
Yes.
He's he destroys with Chewbacca. So if you haven't tried that yet, B1 and Chewbacca, interesting combo, because he attacks. He doesn't attack a lot. If he attacks out of turn, it's not going to call Chewbacca. But interesting interaction for sure between those two. Then you got the other thing I wanted to mention, and then something I might have been overlooked, is that if you get plague on this dude, it does not go away, even if he dies and comes back. Like, putting plague on this guy wrecks him. Like, completely wrecks him. So, I don't know if that was intentional, but that's putting... If he does become meta, you might see a lot of Night Sisters come back because it just completely destroys B1, the plague, right now. So,
you know, something you just mentioned made me think about this, and that's the interaction B2 could have with Chewbacca if you could make that work health-wise because of all the turn meter gain and how often he goes.
That would be rough to do only because he's a tank, but it would definitely be interesting.
Yes.
I'm sure you could do it. Like, just make sure everyone else is getting health and
has
protection on theirs, and you could do it. That would definitely be interesting for sure.
So next question. As of now, there's no update for the General Grievous kit. How excited are you to see if he is a Rose or a Revan? And this is how excited are you to see what he is. So, 8 votes for a 1. This is 1-5 scale. 8 votes for 1, 3 votes for 2, and then it was pretty similar to the last question. 34% had a 4, and then it was right around 29% for 3 and 5. So I mean, people are pretty excited about the droids, feeling pretty good about them. The community seems to be in pretty close lockstep. I mean, it's not... I feel like usually on these type of questions, there's like usually a group of people that are just not happy about it or something, but...
That's very true, because I was about to say, when we do these 1 to 5 questions, it almost always ends up with 4 is the highest and 5 and 3 about even. And then, depending on what it is, a few more 1s and 2s, depending on what happened and we're asking. But for the most part, I think a lot of people just don't like to give 5s. And it's like, you know what, I like him, but I'm not going to give him the highest mark. And they always go for 4. And it seems like this is the curve that we always get with questions like this. I just think it's funny.
Yep. Yeah.
So the 4th question, and I know Wink's answer, clones. Do you have a favorite faction in Swugga? And if so, what is it? Who do you love? Sing it if you know the words. All right. The number 1 group in the whole thing, and I'm kind of surprised by this. I don't know. It is Bounty Hunters. 34 people voted for Bounty Hunters.
I was surprised.
21.5%. Number 1 faction, Bounty Hunters.
Crazy. I was very surprised.
Yeah, right? And then the funny thing is, with the emergence of Bastila Shan and Revan, and even before that, Grandmaster's Zeta leader ability, Jedi have surged to be, according to our poll, the second with 31 votes to the 34 for Bounty Hunters. So they are the second place team, 31 votes. Jedi, another surprise. Yeah,
not too far behind. I expected Jedi to be up there, but I really figured if you would have told me to pick the order that this would be in, I would have said it would have been Jedi, Sith, Rebel, then Bounty Hunter.
I would have thought Resistance would have been in there. I would have thought they would have been up near the top. I don't know. It's crazy.
Really? I mean, people love the new movies. I guess that's a good point.
Well, that and RJT was meta for so long, so people who had them all geared up, not to mention Zeta Finn was so good in Heroic AT for so long, as well as all the different PvE modes that lead. if we were to rewind the podcast and talk about when I Zeta'd Finn, remember how much I glowed about the fact that I could beat Galactic War without a problem every single day once I Zeta'd Finn? Like back when you couldn't sim it, you know? So, I don't know. I just thought Resistance would be higher. Now, Resistance wasn't far behind, but let's go through this real quick. Sith, we're third, 26 votes. And then Rebel right behind them at 25. So you could put Sith and Rebels right around the same area. And then you get to number 5, which is Resistance. And so, is there any other numbers on these characters or groups that were surprising to you? Whether that was because they were low or...
I was surprised that Beagle Squadron only got 1 vote. I expected more for that, but... I kind of feel like for the most part, I feel like Bounty Hunter is the big outlier here because I feel like for the most part, the other factions, people's votes probably aren't going to change too much based on their feelings of that faction in Star Wars in general versus Swugga. Like, I love Jedi in Star Wars, and because of that, I love the Jedi in Swugga. Like, it's not... I have a difficult time distinguishing between the two, and I suspect that a lot of other people would be the same way. But bounty hunters are just so ridiculously awesome in this game, so much utility and versatility that they got more of a boost than I expected, I guess.
You know, it's
what about
interesting on a low one. Only 10 people voted Night Sister. And that was another one that I thought...
That's kind of surprising, yeah.
...was a little low because it's right down there with Imperial Troopers. Old Republic was only a couple votes behind Night Sisters. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Scoundrels with 8, you know.
Geonosians and Galactic Republic got 0 votes out of 158.
Tuscans got more than Smugglers, more than Rogue One, more than Phoenix. There's a low one. Phoenix got 2 votes. Phoenix.
Yeah.
They've been around for a while, so maybe that's what. But when they first came out, man, you had those people that went straight to gear 11 when it was the max at the time. Then they had their Golden Phoenix just because Phoenix was their thing. But in our representation, 2 people.
Old Republic only has 7. I suspect that would change if they were to release... like a Darkside Revan or some other really prominent Old Republic character. But I just, with how many Old Republic characters we've had and the meta, Revan, Bastille Shan, all of that, I'm surprised.
I want to make a future-looking guess. Not everyone has Karth or Juhani yet. I have a feeling that once we all get our hands on Karth and have him geared up to be able to run the DOT team with Ordo, Mission, and Zalbar, and whatever we run as the 5th, I think that'll get a lot more love. There's not a lot of people playing it now because not a lot of people have Karth, but I think that team is going to be really, really good. So I think there might get a bump there once we all have Karth and can unlock that DOT team. I like the idea of a DOT team. I don't know, but that sounds like a really good one to me. So completely related to that question is the next one. If you have a favorite faction, why do you like it so much? And this kind of goes to what I mentioned a second ago. Totally forgot this question was on there, but story/theme in Star Wars was the top reply, and that was 60% of answers. So most people kind of feel the same way I do as far as that goes. Power of the faction in game was 24.7%, 39 people. So, I mean, that's not too surprising. And then diversity of faction had 21% with models and the artwork being amazing coming in next at 7%. And then basically everything else was a single vote or tie. Yeah, and a lot of those single votes, since you have to put them word for word with what someone else did for it to count as 2 votes, a lot of those are how fun they are to play. So I think that if you counted up all the fun to play votes, it would be up there with models artwork, or maybe even higher than that. Because a lot of people wrote in how fun they are to use, fun to play, fun to use, you know, those types of things. So that is another really good one.
That's fair.
That was missing there. So it makes sense that was written in a lot. But I would say for me, it boils down to story theme in Star Wars, but with a heavy look at how powerful they are in the game. Because back in the day, there was a Star Wars collectible card game, and it was freaking awesome. And I built myself a Tusken deck, 60 card deck from this game, a Tusken deck. I traded some really crazy cards. I think at one point I traded my Darth Vader card for like this really rare Tusken that I needed, and made a Tusken deck because it actually worked and it was good. I really like the Tuskens. Now in this game, I really like the Tuskens as a faction, but in game they have 0 power. So shout out to Urza for making that happen for him, but it's not happening for me until something happens with them. So yeah, I'd say I do story theme, but with a heavy reliance on how powerful they are in the game.
Yeah, cool. This next question's pretty interesting. So what is your galactic power? If you have multiple accounts, just give your primary. This is kind of interesting, not too terribly surprising either. 34% of the 158 responses said 4 to 5 million. And then 45% of people said 3 to 4 million. So between 3 to 5 million, that was what, 79% basically? I mean, almost 4 out of 5 people were between 3 and 5 that did this poll. So that's kind of interesting. The next response was just under 11% in the 2 to 3 million pie. And then everything else was significantly smaller than that.
I fall in the 45%, and I think you fall in the 35%.
That is correct. Yep.
I'm almost 3.8 now on my main.
Very nice. You'll be in that 35% before too long.
Yeah, moving our way. Moving and shaking.
Cool.
So, last question we had. What is your favorite part of the show? And the answers you could get are drops recorded of the sultry female, the drinking game when the host has to drink when they yawn, Beagle Squadron, the hosts, editor's note, they made me put this in there, lies, and then the last one, the content, and then the other last one, so 2 last ones I guess, trivia. And 45% of people, unsurprisingly, said the content of the show is what they come for. So I'm glad that you guys enjoy the content, because I know you're not here to see my face. So
that is certainly true. I mean, I would understand if you're here for, sultry female drops or the drinking game. Like, that makes sense. But the fact that y'all are here for the content, I am okay with it.
None surprising.
That's not too bad either.
We got second place for the host. 20% of people. That's cool. I'm okay with that.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It works.
Indeed. I always love the write-in responses. Right off the top, there's 2 for more sultry female and time to get sultry female on the live show. Favorite part whenever we fight. That was actually a conversation in Discord. I wish we had more disagreements, because it's hard to make up a really good disagreement, like the Millennium Falcon thing a couple weeks ago. It's always great whenever we genuinely disagree. It's hard to manufacture something where we're both so passionate. So,
well, you're really good at pushing my buttons, so it works. It happens pretty well.
Nice.
I want to say shout out to this feedback here. Keep up the good work. I'll be watching live tonight from my plunge pool in Cabo. Call me
Oh,
jealous.
oh, yes, no kidding.
Right?
Wow.
How come we weren't
Jealous.
invited? We could have live streamed from your plunge pool.
No
Unfair.
kidding. Jesus.
Oh,
Oh.
well.
All right.
Now.
It is time to move on and talk about something else. So let's go to that.
Strong with us, this update is young Padawans.
Well, did you hear they finally changed or fixed the heroic Sith raid issue?
Yeah, I did. If you're watching the Twitch live stream, I named it Finn ? Finn period. So there you go.
Nice.
Finn, that's from what is it? Is it French films that just put Finn at the end?
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe
I'm
I'm
not
making stuff
cultured.
up.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
All right, so I think it is time to talk about this change to Finn. So Finn has been so good for so long. However, C-3PO really broke him, and it's been kind of difficult, I think, for the devs figuring out how to go about this, because it's been a long time. C-3PO came out in December, and here we are mid-February before we're actually getting a fix to what he did to the heroic Sith raid. Fortunately, we knew it was coming. They were open about the fact that there would be a change coming. So if you Zeta Finn or you did geared up somebody and you're unhappy about it, I mean, you knew the change was coming. It doesn't look like there's going to be a refund on the Zeta. So
What you didn't know was whether the change was going to be to Finn himself or to
the raid.
The raid.
That is true.
Because if I remember correctly, they said they weren't unhappy with what was going on in Heroic AT with
That's correct.
Finn, and they also said they weren't worried about what was happening in Arena with Finn. It was more about the Heroic Sith raid. But the interesting part here is that this fix, we don't know how it's going to affect those things, because obviously we haven't played with it. We don't know how different it'll be in Heroic AT or in Arena. But we know that this obviously fixes Heroic Sith. So that's the hope. I know that we've had fixes before where we went in and immediately you could still do what you were doing before. Like, what is that team? Shitstorm with the Night Sisters in Phase 3? Is that what it's called? Shitstorm? No, I don't think that's what it's called.
I doubt it.
Some kind of storm. That one was supposed to be fixed, but you can still do it. I mean, so we'll see what happens in Phase 3 with this going forward. The intention was to fix the infinite loop in Heroic Sith, but it's going to be interesting how this affects pretty much every area of the game with Finn involved. So, yeah.
Indeed. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into exactly what they changed. So there was somebody made a before and after picture, and I'm just gonna kind of read off that because it's a lot simpler than actually just reading out his abilities and then kind of talk about or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and read his original basic ability and then his new ability. We'll go through the whole kit and then we'll talk about what it means and all that sort of stuff. All right.
No.
Crack shot basic. Before deal physical damage to target enemy, this attack deals 100% more damage to enemies that have not already been struck by it. New basic ability. Deal physical damage to target enemy. This attack deals 20% more damage for each time the target has been struck by it.
Which is hilarious because it's pretty much the opposite.
Exact
now,
opposite. Yes.
Which
and
is way better.
Yes, absolutely. Before it wasn't really that great. You used it once and then it became way less good after that.
Did you use it though? Did you ever focus your attacks based on what the extra text was on that? I don't think I ever even paid attention to that extra bonus.
Yes, I did, but like way early game when it first came out, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing in this game. But so this is almost like stacking offense. 20% more damage each time the target's been struck. And this is a basic ability. So that means on a mass assist or a call. Exactly. So C-3PO calling in Finn, that is just going to stack and stack and stack each time he uses his basic. It's not just based on his turn. So that is the really cool thing that that ability has that I absolutely love. Let's move on to Hold the Line, his special with a 3-turn cooldown.
All right.
Before, Finn gains advantage and defense up for 2 turns and dispels all debuffs from all allies. Finn and Poe gain heal over time for 2 turns. The new ability, and this is lengthy. All resistance allies recover 20% health and protection. Finn gains advantage, defense up, taunt, and determination for 2 turns and dispels all debuffs from all allies. That alone sounds pretty good. But determination is kind of awesome. Whenever any other resistance ally falls below 50% health, determination expires and Finn taunts for 2 turns. If that ally was taunting, it is dispelled. When determination expires, Finn gains retribution for 2 turns. I love this ability because it fixes the one interaction that I hated with this team. And that was, if you're using a resistance team with Finn and Poe, you get into a really bad spot because of how long Poe's taunt lasts, that he's pretty easy to kill. This eliminates that problem because, 1, he still heals and recovers health for everyone now, which is fantastic. But
and it's not just a heal over time. Because the heal for Finn was... The heal for Poe and himself was a heal over time, so it wasn't even immediate.
That is correct. And it was health only. So now they get an immediate 20% and health and protection. The other thing is, so whenever Poe drops below 50% health, not only does Finn gain taunt and Poe loses it, which is how you would ideally want that interaction to work, but he gains retribution, and now he can start stacking up his damage on his basic even more often.
Here's where I get confused. Awesome. Here's where I get confused. You use this ability, you gain all those buffs that include taunt for 2 turns. Determination you also get for 2 turns. So his taunt lasts as long as determination. So if someone else has taunt and they go below 50% health, I guess the only thing it does is refresh the taunt for 2 turns.
Yes,
whenever it's never gonna not have taunt and determination at the same time. So the only thing determination does will refresh taunt for 2 more turns.
Basically, yes, he will have taunt and determination at the same time.
Right, but it would always drop off at the same time. So the only thing determination really does is refresh the taunt he already has for 2 turns. It doesn't mean, okay, well, this guy was taunting and he's not. Suddenly he's taunting and that guy loses taunt. So if 2 people are taunting, obviously that one will lose his taunt. But Finn will have been taunting the entire time. So
exactly. And like I said, not only does it refresh the taunt, but he gains retribution, which is kind of awesome. And
especially with that new basic he has.
Especially with that
stack that offense real quick if he's using his basic every time he's attacked.
Indeed. All right, so his other special is Takedown. It is a 2-turn cooldown. Deal physical damage to target enemy and expose them for 2 turns with an 80% chance to stun them for 1 turn. After, Deal physical damage to target enemy, expose them for 2 turns, and stun them for 1 turn. So now it's a 100% chance of a stun. In addition, this attack deals 60% more damage for each time the target has been struck by it, doubled against raid bosses. So, 60% more damage. What?
It says... Oh, yeah, okay. I'm reading the cooldown. It says cooldown changed to 2 turns at base. I guess one of the old ability upgrades was the cooldown -1. Now it's just 2 across the board. It was always...
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So I thought that meant it went down, but it is still 2. So it never went down. It's just not an ability you have to buy now. Which was probably the Omega, is my guess.
Probably. But one thing I love about this is, so the 60% more damage for each time the target's been struck by this ability, doubled against raid bosses. So you gain 120% more damage each time you use this against a raid boss. That is certainly going to make up for part of what you're losing here with what we're about to talk about, because there's a drastic change to his leader ability. But he is going to be far better at damage output himself rather than making other people do a ton of damage. He's actually going to be contributing heavily in the damage output with the new Bin-led resistance team. Shaman asked a question about the AI as far as using Hold the Line, which is the taunt ability. I presume that this will be used as a heal of some sort, because it'll be like a heal taunt. He will generally want to have taunt and be healing people, so I assume that it'll work just like any of those other mechanics. If he does have taunt, I presume he's probably not going to use Hold the Line unless someone is getting low on health or something. But if he doesn't have taunt, he will probably prioritize using Hold the Line over Takedown.
Yeah, and it was a rework, so it might be different now than it was. But I think back in before, the only time he used it is if people were debuffed. So it just depends on what the focus now is for that ability with the AI. So if the focus is just debuffs, if your team's debuffed, he'll use it. If it's heals,
that's a good point.
He'll do it on heals. But I would not assume that this character, with all the damage output that they've put on him, is a automatic taunter. Not automatic taunter, but I don't think the taunt, that second ability with the heals and the dispels, is going to be the first ability he uses. Yeah. It's just a guess.
We will see. So this is where it gets controversial. And we might have an argument, because we have not talked about our thoughts on this. I don't know how you feel. I don't know if you know how I feel about this. So we'll see what happens. Balanced Tactics, the leader ability. Before, resistance allies gain 30% offense and 60% defense. All other allies gain half that amount. Whenever a resistance ally loses foresight, they gain advantage for 2 turns. And whenever an enemy takes damage from exposed, reduce the cooldown of all resistance allies by 1 and grant them 35% turn meter. That really awesome leader ability has been changed to this. Resistance allies have plus 60% defense, offense, and potency, and all other allies have half that amount. Each time they damage an exposed enemy, all resistance allies gain 3% turn meter, and the target enemy loses 5% turn meter for each resistance ally. Damaging an exposed enemy also reduces resistance allies' cooldowns by 1.
So, let's do maths, right?
Let's do it. I like math.
And I want to start this off by saying, before C-3PO came out, I always assumed that 35% turn meter only went to resistance allies. I didn't even realize it went to everyone. I thought it was a resistance thing because most of the time under Finn, no one used really anyone else but resistance, right?
Wait, what part are you talking about?
The turn meter gain from exposes. I didn't
Well,
realize that it was actually everyone. I thought it was actually just resistance allies.
Okay, well, no, the turn meter gain is resistance only, but
The old leader.
that is correct. It was only resistance allies.
Oh, okay.
Other characters did not gain turn meter from that, but let's see.
So I was right on that all along. What was the
Correct.
prevailing issue?
So the big change here is okay. So the defense they gain does not change. The offense that everyone gains is doubled, and now they get 60% potency. So landing debuffs with this team shouldn't be an issue. It'll be a really good counter to teams that go tenacity heavy. It'll allow them to still land debuffs and exposes. It's not unresistible like our JT lead, but it will still be very, very good. However, whenever we look at the expose interaction with the turn meter and everything's going on there, what they have done is take away some of the turn meter that you gain and make it reduce turn meter of the enemy that you're attacking. So each time they damage an exposed enemy, okay, so each time that he damage an exposed enemy, all resistance allies gain 3% turn meter.
See,
and the target
reading this kit, I don't see what the issue is with this change. Because if you're taking away, 25% turn meter on each expose hit, and giving your team, 3 times 5? 15%? Doesn't that still pretty much equal out to the same amount of turn meter flip-flop as the old leadership?
Well, no, because the all resistance allies gaining 3% turn. They gain 3% turn meter for each resistance ally. So if you have a team entirely of resistance, they will gain 15% turn meter each time an expose is, damage is done by an expose. Or I should say, each time they damage an exposed enemy. So the target enemy losing 5% turn meter, that is where it really hurts you in the raid, because the Heroic AAT and the Sith raid, both of those are kind of based on the fact that they do damage with them gaining turn meter. You don't have to remove any turn meter at all to make the team work. So that's kind of why this gets a little controversial. Gaining only 15% turn meter for each expose kind of creates an issue. And
In
also
raids.
the fact that it's based on... Yes.
How is this an issue outside of raids?
But...
Besides killing the cheapo Finn, C-3PO, CLS, Chewbacca Han team.
My internet's being awful. I'm losing you a little bit. Do you still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear. I just said, how does this hurt anything but raids?
Okay.
Besides the cheapo Finn, C-3PO, CLS, Raid Han, Chewbacca team.
It's different.
Right, but I mean, like, outside
problem.
of the raid, you're pulling 25% turn meter off, gaining 15% to yourself. If you were to... They're two different things, obviously, but doing one to the other side and adding still to your side, they even out in a way, right? So the only way this really hurts is, to me, just trying to think this through, is phase 2 and 4 of the Heroic AAT raid, because there's no turn meter removal. Phase 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. 2, 4, 2, 3. Man, my maths are terrible. 2, 3, and 4 in Heroic Sith. So I just don't see. I don't see how this can be that big or bad of a thing. Besides just being different.
Well, it's different, but it really hurts your ability as far as the rate goes because of your 3 exposes and resistance characters get 100% turn meter. The problem is now taking it down to optimally 15% if you have a full resistance team. By doing that, it's substantially more. It's 6 3/4 to get to 100% turn meter. So that is a lot of expose. That is over twice as much exposed damage as you need to do in order to make this happen with full resistance. And part of the way that this team worked so well before was it would use Rebels interacting with C-3PO's ability that does the expose on basic. So let's kind of theory craft up a team here and see as far as let's say we take Finn, Resistance Trooper, who I think is really interesting and probably going to be necessary for this team because he does the 65% chance to expose them on his basic. There's not a lot of expose on basic with resistance, which is part of the problem. But they have the cooldown, which allows them to keep using special abilities, which is how they're going to get that back. Let's see. All right, so I forget what I was looking for.
I mean,
there's an ability for one of these characters I'm trying to find. I can't remember what it is.
I don't really see. Well, I could see Finn being put into an RJT arena team now, just because of the taunt and the because of the taunt determination, because of the extra damage from his abilities. I think it would make an interesting defense AI interaction there. Or maybe even a Zeta Finn lead in arena. Let's see what that does. I don't know. But I don't know. Beyond raids, I just don't see. I don't see him being bad with this kit. I think this kit change is good. I think it's really good. It'll be different. We'll have to relearn it. But as far as it sucks that it's probably going. We'll see how it goes in Heroic AT if the solo team is still viable and possible. The Heroic Sith thing's gone, but they've said apparently earlier, lower down in this big chunk of text that they gave us, that Finn. Yeah, here it is. We have internal testing figures that place this new Finn team able to do about 20% of Phase 3 of the Heroic Sith Triumvirate. That's under our internal testing regimen, which means mileage will vary, and our suspicion is probably higher out of the wild at the live game and all the crafty theory crafters out there. So it's still going to be able to do decent damage in Heroic Sith. I guarantee that someone's going to theory craft something better than 20%, but that's just their internal testing. So to me, overall, it doesn't seem that bad. It just seems different, and we've been using this character forever since Zetas came out this way, and it's kind of annoying it's getting changed instead of just upping the tenacity on Traya. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
That's true. So one thing I do like about this is I think this gives the team more potential in Phase 1 of the Heroic AAT, because that's the phase that can be a little fussy. Now that you have turn meter gain, I think that's going to help there. As far as Phase 2 through 4, I don't... Phase 3 will be a non-issue, obviously. Phase 2 and 4, I think the team will still pretty much be fine. They do gain a lot of turn meter still. And if you put in, say, Han Solo, for example, who can double tap and put out a couple exposes, you know, he he'll be able to give, 24% turn meter basically every time he attacks. And then there will be ways that you can kind of spam out, turn meter from the rest of the team. Let's see. Resistance Trooper. He's still basically going to work the same. There's not going to be much difference as far as the way he works in any of these teams. It really just changes the interaction that they have with all these other sort of with the rebels based on C-3PO's kit, primarily in the raids. I'm very curious to take him into phase 3 of the Heroic Sith Raid, which I think everybody is, and they're going to be doing more damage per attack. They're going to have more potency, so she has, I think, stacking 10% tenacity, so you'll be able to land these exposes a little bit longer as far as that goes. Even once you get her toppled, you'll still be able to do a decent amount of damage, but it's going to be more about playing through, all 15 of her attacks versus the way it's been all this time up until now, essentially. You'll have to get back into toppling and that sort of stuff. And I kind of think, Finn's going to actually be a really good damage dealer for this team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, in certain places, you might actually just put him under RJT if you're not using 2 resistance teams, for example, territory battles or, certain other game modes. Because
perhaps, yeah, I could see that as potential, because he's going to be a pretty good damage,
and yeah, pretty good damage. All you need is some crits from him to get under RJT lead to get that going. Now you're doing damage with it instead of him just being there to be a stun guy, which is what I always used him for.
Yeah.
If he was under RJT. So.
Indeed. So, I'm sure it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of mess with once we actually get our hands on him. But yeah, I think my overall takeaway, worse for raids, obviously, but I do think this is, without question, an improvement on his kit. He's going to be much better. It's going to work much different. I got smoked by a Finn-led team in Arena today. I took one turn and it was over, and that was with my Revan team. I got absolutely smoked. And it's just because of the turn meter that it just produces like crazy with 3PO and Resistance Trooper. It's freaking crazy. But Resistance Trooper should kind of give you hope, because let's see, he has I think his only ability that does expose is on his basic, and it's 65% chance. It's kind of unfortunate that there isn't more direct expose with resistance outside of specials. You kind of have to rely on either Resistance Troopers basic or, Finn special.
The cooldown reduction isn't going away either. So what always worked as far as getting the specials off cooldown to use them again is still there. And might I add that, like, from this conversation in chat where it's like you don't want to use Finn on, or that makes the Zeta useless if you're using Finn as a damage. Yes, it does, unless you're using him as a damage in a certain mode and still using him as leader in other modes. And I will still say this, as far as interaction with other characters goes, in Grand Arena, right? I will set I'll use RJT on offense, and I use Zeta Finn on offense. Zeta Finn is still good on offense, even though I don't have 5 resistance right now, because if I put other people in there that apply expose, they get the turn meter from that expose. And that still hasn't changed with the new leader ability, where if you put in a Sidious and he throws expose on everyone, if you're popping that, it's still the resistance getting the turn meter and the turn meter reduction. It'll be less because they're not all resistance, but it's still working similarly. It might not be as effective now with a non-all resistance team, but it'll work similarly, I guess. But I don't know. I think there'll still be places where you use one over the other, in where you want him as a damage dealer, or you want him. I mean, it does technically kind of. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say, I don't know if you'd want to use him with RJT and Heroic Sith, especially if he's doing 20% in phase 3.
The way resistance worked before, by gaining basically thirds of turn meter chunks, whenever there's an expose, the way it is now, there will be some art to stair-stepping kind of your speeds of your resistance characters, to create windows of gaining turn meter whenever there's an expose. So let's say, for example, you have C-3PO as your fastest character, and he calls in Han Solo, who can come in and double tap, and I believe that would be... I think you would only hit one expose, because the first one would land an expose, second attack would hit the expose. This would be on the initial turn. Obviously, if you have Chewie, it changes things. You'll get more than that. But so on the first turn, you could get 12% turn meter, say, if you're using a mostly resistance team with Han. You could then have your next resistance character, say Finn, for example, be 12.5% or 12% turn meter behind C-3PO, so that he could then go, and he would be then pushing turn meter to C-3PO and the characters behind him. So then if you had another resistance character, 24% turn meter behind C-3PO, you could, I'm trying to think of a good example. Resistance Trooper, perhaps, to where he could come and pop and expose, then gain more turn meter. And of course, you can stack up multiple exposes, which would allow for even, bigger chunks of turn meter. But I do think that there's a good chance that there might be some art to stacking up those opportunities to gain turn meter and not be wasting it to kind of get the team going, maybe in arena or getting raids started or something along those lines, because you're not going to want to just waste turn meter with this team, I suspect, because wasting turn meter is not good. You want to always be gaining turn meter.
I want to point out a chat message from Zara. He said, we should have the vet smugglers given the resistance tag now. They didn't get it originally because of Zeta Finn, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be sweet. That's something they deserved from the start. Give them something, make them viable, make them worthwhile, besides getting RJT again. Or not again, for the first time. That would be perfect. And it's funny because the new movie coming out, I wouldn't think, oh, a new movie's coming out. They'll rework those two characters to make them viable because the new movie's coming out and they're in them. Well, Chewbacca is, but spoiler alert for those of you that are 2 or 3 years behind now, Han Solo is not going to be in episode 9, so why would they worry about reworking when the new movie came out? So it should just be something that happens, I think.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I got questions. I'm going to ask these questions. See what I can find out.
Indeed. Something else I find interesting is Resistance Pilot's character I've never really used before, but gains 25% turn meter when it lands a crit. So characters that work off of short turn meter could be really beneficial, especially obviously resistance characters.
Wait,
Something
you've never
that
really used Resistance Pilot? I love he was like a staple under Zeta Finn because of that his special or
Yeah.
her special with the expose is just another expose on that team.
I've used her like once.
Wow, that's crazy to me.
So
I have used her so much. That's nuts to me. Doesn't she have a ship too?
yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Must not ever use the ship. I don't think anyone does, to be honest.
Nope.
But
I don't think I ever have, literally.
it's odd. It's at the top of my not the top. It's probably in the mid tier of my ships because my resistance pilot's gear 11. So I'm not that's just why it surprises me. I used her forever. Her ship's been decent. In the early days of ships, I had her gear 11. So when I got the ship, that ship was good to go. Isn't that the ship that force taunts? Or is that something else?
I think it might be. I know that might be. I'm not 100% for sure. I know I've seen that debuff and it's very annoying. But I can't remember if it's her or someone else.
No, it's not her.
Interesting.
But the ship has
so yeah,
exposes.
So what is your ultimate takeaway here with Finn?
My takeaway. I understand why people are upset or would be upset because it's completely changed something that we've been using and know very, very well after. And then people said 3 years. It's not been 3 years. Zetas have not been out for 3 years. So
That's true.
don't say 3 years. It's not been 3 years. As far as long as ships have come out. So what, 2 years? Not 3 years, 2 years. Okay. A year is a long time. So there's that. But as long as Zetas have been out, people have been using this character and it changed. So I understand why people would be upset about that. I personally think I need to get my hands on this kit because it looks good. And I feel like besides raids, it still might be what I want it to be for the most part.
Well, especially if you're talking like arena, I think Poe he's always been really good because of the turn meter reduction that he has. You have Holdo who has the AoE days. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that goes on, with resistance, and that will still be interacting with this, of course. And, Poe's AoE expose is going to be awesome because it'll give you a choice of exposes to hit whenever there are multiple enemies to kind of allow you to get the turn meter going. AoEs after Poe. And I mean, that could be the spot where things get really interesting. If Poe can throw out 4 exposes, you have a full resistance team. That's going to be 60% turn meter that you could gain on an AoE if, I'm thinking Heroic AAT tank raid, for example. Throw out 4 exposes, AoE, you gain 60% turn meter each time that happens, and you're reducing turn meter, so Poe can keep taunting over and over, basically every time that he gets up.
How great the potency on Poe is going to be.
Yes.
Load him up with speed now, because you know for a fact that he's probably going to inflict those exposes without having to load him with potency like you used to have to.
So, R2 is another one that could be really good there because of the AoE, of course. Let's see. Ray Scav, you'd only have one chance because... Yeah, that and... Hey, so if you hang out after trivia, you'll get to see my rosy self, Zeta Rose. I'm dreading it, but I mean, she's going to be gaining some turn meter. Maybe this will help me find a use for her. Sorry, soul. Let's see. BB-8, he does his expose on Illuminated Destiny. That'll be that's something else that'll be interesting to see. um, just see how well the cooldown interactions work with the entire team, just because it's going to be so much different as far as, less attacks, but more turn meter removal. Yeah, we'll see. We will certainly see.
Definitely.
You have, I think I already asked you if you have any other thoughts.
You interrupted them, so I've forgotten them now.
Yeah. So, indeed. All right. So, what do we have next?
So someone asked, we should mention like factions, secondary factions to the main ones you play, most people play in game, and what you like to do. And I thought that was an interesting concept, but I wanted to switch it around a little bit and kind of just talk about where we are on our rosters and the things that, since we have most of our main things for our accounts ready to go, what is it exactly that we focus on besides those main things? And so I want to ask you, what was the biggest thing that if you had like an overall arcing project you finished recently, what was it? Like Jedis, Ewoks. I think you did some stuff with your Ewoks. You're probably done with it now, right?
Yeah, I never completely finished the Ewoks. I did put some Gear 12 Plus pieces on them, on Sherpa and Wicked, I believe. They're kind of the staple of making that team go. Let's see. I guess my fleet, I've kind of been working on Rebels and 6E mods, and then just kind of optimizing, kind of my arena team, Jolie. Like, it's just kind of been small projects, playing around with mods to some degree and stuff like that. I really haven't taken on like a big project lately, as far as something that I really want to work on. I've been farming Embo. I think he's going to be the next one I work up, because he is he's awesome. He does great damage. He's great in a bounty hunter team. I need another bounty hunter that's awesome, and Embo's gear is so easy that I think he's going to be the next solution. I've been working on Kira. I do like Kira, and I zeted Vandor Chewy. I got some really good mods for him. He's done me pretty well in some territory wars and Grand Arena. I'm pretty happy with that investment. I think putting a little bit
Goggles
Chewy. Yes,
okay,
Goggles Chewy. And I've been thinking about putting a little bit more work into Kira and Nest, and maybe even Smuggler Han.
Smuggler Han.
Yeah, that guy.
Veteran Smuggler Han. Wow.
Or no, not Smuggler. Young Han.
Oh, okay. You are blowing my mind. I'm like, what do you know that I do not? Because that's impressive. That's interesting.
Not crap Han. Let's see. I'm probably gonna have to work on Rose, because I'm gonna Zeta her unfreaking fortunately. Tash mentioned in chat about Django. Django's one I've always wanted to do. I just don't see. I feel like he takes too much gear. I'm not willing to dump a bunch of resources into anything at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough decision. I'm not exactly sure what I want to work on next. That's kind of why I'm hoarding.
Why don't you talk us through your thought process for a second?
Yeah, I can do that. So as far as hoarding, I don't know what's coming. I don't know what the next meta is. It could totally be droids. Droids could be a distraction for Darkside Revan. We don't know yet. So I'm kind of just storing stuff at the moment to kind of see where things lead to. I'm pretty interested in droids. I'll probably work them up to some degree. But I'm not super concerned about them. I don't really know what I want to work on. I still want to do Range Trooper. I'm trying to find like 1 or 2 characters in factions that I can plug in to take that faction to another level rather than like rebuilding an entire faction, just because it's so, it requires too many resources and I just don't want to spend them. So I'm saving currency basically from every store, just trying to stock it up so that I can buy gear that I need, farm whoever I need if a character comes into a store or something new pops up. They mentioned these new ways of bringing characters into the game that we might see something else like Hermit Yoda or Wampa. I want to be ready for that. So that sort of stuff kind of has been priority. And then just kind of doing raids. I've been having a lot of fun with the raids lately. So, just God, I wish I had something. I wish I had a better answer for something that I'd like to work on. I am excited about this fin rework though, because I may jump into Resistance a little bit because I'm probably gonna try to come up with something in the raids and maybe do a video on it or something. I haven't done a video in a while. I've got a video I'm planning to do that I've basically know what I'm gonna do. I just haven't had time to do it, but like raid videos are quite a bit easier than what I'm wanting to do. So maybe if this spin thing hits soon, maybe I can get something out regarding that.
So I might have been MIA on screen, but I still heard everything said, and it brought 2 thoughts to mind.
Okay.
I would for your idea of working on one character that might help transform a faction, and you brought up Range Trooper. He is one that will definitely up an entire Imperial Trooper faction if you have him and you gear him.
No doubt.
So that is part of the reason why I chose him as my next hard note farm, at least until we know where Karth and Juhani are going.
That's true.
Why I chose him. That is definitely a good one as far as transformative goes with one character. And then the other thing I thought is, how many people have 90,000 guild event currency saved up, or at least could get there pretty quickly if a new character came out?
Good question.
I know I'm ready on both of my accounts if that were to drop right now.
Jesus, seriously?
Oh yeah, and I buy gear on there all the time. Buy gear all the time. But so then my question was going to be, what are the odds that the price of a new character in that shop is higher than the other 2 characters? Maybe not doubled, but let's say like 50% more on top of the price. So
I don't see it. I'd be surprised.
Really? Because I don't see them dropping a character that people could just get to 7-star.
You still have to think about new players also. I mean, it still is going to take a while to farm up all those shards. You still have new players who would want to farm all of these characters. And it could, I mean, we could see something in Fleet. We could see something in Guild Store. I think it would be more... I don't know. Whenever I think about it that way, I'm like, yeah, I could see maybe them inflating the price on someone to add in. Shard Shop, possibly, because that's much less likely that people would have enough shards for that. But they've done that in the past and kind of moved away from it. Hopefully they don't go back. I may just cut that out of the podcast so I don't give me ideas.
Yeah,
but
stop with the ideas. No, it's I don't know. Just an interesting thought I had when you had mentioned that new character, because I hadn't really thought about the fact that a lot of people would be within striking distance of 7-star. Now, another an argument against the idea of raising the price is the fact that you still have to wait every refresh.
Yes.
To buy those shards, so it wouldn't be immediate. You'd still have to wait over time if you had the money. So maybe the amount of time you'd have to wait and refreshes, and some people don't get every refresh a day to buy those things, so it might even take those people longer. Maybe the amount of time it would take with refreshes, even if you had the currency, was enough time for them to be happy with it staying the same price. You know what I mean? So who knows?
So what about you?
So my plan is, well, okay. Oh, I can ask you this: what Jedi Knight, or Jedi Master Quest? You are on what, 3 of 4? You said.
Yes.
How many more get this Jedi to Gear 12 steps are there in that quest?
Qui-Gon is one.
Okay, that'll be easy. Because I got him Gear 11, almost Gear 12 already. Actually, I think I might already have him Gear 12.
I took him to Gear 12 yesterday.
He was easy to get to Gear 12, I'm pretty sure.
Because
I got Old Ben I'm working on now. I'm curious how many other Gear 12 Jedis there are for this.
That might be it. I don't remember if there's one in the final one. I know in the final one you have to get first place in a heroic AAT. I feel like the other ones were kind of like those just large number type deals. There's not one in 3 out of 4. It's defeat 200 Sith with Grandmaster Yoda, win light hard 9D with 5 Jedi, and 100 stars in TB.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how much longer I have on that quest before I start going full bore into what I was about to say, because my biggest thing is now that I got Imbo to 7 stars, I have Aura at 7 stars, and I'm almost to Django at 7 stars. My big thing is I want to get as many of my bounty hunters to Gear 12 as I can. I really want to build the double bounty hunter team, and just overall having the ability to pick a payout leader I like and having the team geared to put around it to make it work whenever I want to. So my big new thing, and apparently this is a popular opinion because it was the most popular faction from our poll, but my big thing is going after those bounty hunters right now, and I have several at Gear 12. I have a lot at Gear 11, but I really want to get them all to Gear 12 just to have 2 decent teams, and that's what I'm working on. Because good idea. A, B, C, D, E. They're good in territory wars. They're good in galactic. They're good in Grand Arena. They're good in dark side territory battles. They even have special missions that require them. There's raids that they're good in. Heroic Sith. There's the Aura team in Phase 3 can get some good damage. If you have a guild where you can get in more than once. But yeah, so they just have a lot of utility overall. Like they pretty much check every area of the game's box. So I feel like if I put my resources into having 2 bounty hunter teams, it would really be a good faction to have. And then yeah, so that's what I'm working on next.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the plan. Unless I have to, gear 6 other Jedi I don't know about. But yeah, hopefully that's not the case.
Not a bad idea. Well, you ready?
I am always ready.
It's time for the sexy bearded duo to battle in their SWOG knowledge in the most exciting trivia event in the Outer Rim. It's time for the Shattered Order Trivia. May the Force be with you.
Alrighty.
I gotta rub my lucky wampa, and then we'll be good to go.
Never say that again.
Gotta rub my lucky wampa. I didn't say hairy wampa.
Oh, you're cutting out. Thank God.
Whew. I'm pretty sure everyone on the live stream and audio podcast heard what I said. I do not take it back.
Whatever. You should.
Never.
All right. So, trivia. What is the theme?
The theme this week is Swugga Riddles 2.0.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Now, did I beat you by 1-0 after all those questions last week, or was it like 4-0? I can't remember.
I know I got 0, so it was a shutout.
I know I won. That's all I know. But I am okay. So Tesh posted one of these in chat in Discord today. So if it's a question on this, I got it. But that one I would have never got either. I'm looking at it like, is that Jin? No, because Jin doesn't do that last thing. I'm afraid of these, to be honest. I am completely scared. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Swugga Riddles 2.0.
Cool. What is... Oh, I don't have the sultry females questions in here. I'll have to put those back in the sound.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Question 1.
No, we got something else going on here, and you might like it. I don't know if you read this, but this was put into trivia for you from Tesh.
Ah, shoot.
All right, are you ready? It says, I'm going to read it word for word. You ready? Okay, Wink, I have a deal. I realize every wager I have ever been a part of has offered an olive branch at some point. When I lost a wager about soloing Heroic AAT to Soul, he was going to make me Gear 12 Cup, but was kind and allowed me to Gear 12 Old Bin. In the next one that I won, I let people off the hook if they got their Ewoks stronger than mine by the end of the C-3PO event. Here's your out if you choose to take it. So you don't have to do this. This is just an idea. On the next slide is a spreadsheet of the 75 Zetas you don't have done on your roster, randomly ordered. Think of a number between 1 and 75, and that Zeta can replace Farm Boy lead Zeta, but you must do it immediately. And you still have to do rows.
All right, wait. Rephrase that. Say that one more time.
The next slide has 75 Zetas, all of which you have not done. You pick a number, and that number is the Zeta you get instead of Farm Boy Luke's lead. So, but you have to do it tonight. You have to do it tonight.
So there is a set list.
Every Zeta you don't have.
All right. So, you want me to just pick a number and then Zeta Russian roulette? Exactly, Joker. Yeah.
Oh, but are you gonna do it? That's the question.
Well, let's see.
What do you mean? Let's see. I'm not showing you the answers.
Well, it
pick
said
a number or not pick a number.
Okay, yeah, I will pick a number, and then I get to choose that one or Zeta Farm Boy Luke.
Yes.
All right, I will go with my favorite number.
Hold on, let me make sure you know. If you do this, and you don't like the one you get, you have to Zeta Farm Boy Luke right now. Well, you were planning on doing that anyway, right? So never mind. All right.
When trivia's done, I'm going to screen share with you, and I'm going to do my Zetas.
All right, I'm good. We're good. What's your favorite number?
37.
All right, let's see what we got. Number 37. Stormtrooper Han's unique. So let's go find out what Stormtrooper Han's unique ability is.
I believe it's recover 5% health or 5% protection when he's attacked. Whenever Han takes damage, he recovers 5% protection.
That actually doesn't sound half as bad as Farm Boy Luke's lead. But that's just me. You use Stormtrooper Han, don't you?
For this olive branch, I would say that I owe Tesh something. Because I will certainly do that. Let's go ahead and do trivia, and then I will screen share and do my two Zetas.
All right, sounds good. Let's hope that screen share decides to cooperate. All right, first question. Here we go. We are a faction of buffs. They come early and often, but up against Xeris, our crude weapons soften.
Is this a specific character or a faction?
It's apparently, it looks like it's a faction, and I already have my answer.
So do I.
All right, my answer is the Ewoks. What was your
No.
answer?
Crap. I put I'm brain dead. My answer's stupid. I'm not even gonna say my answer.
It's probably someone without crude weapons, is my guess.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
The answer is Ewoks.
That
1
is
point
correct.
for me.
I need to pull these up so I can actually see them because it's very these are very difficult by just listening and trying to remember. All right, so
All right,
you
you
got
ready?
1 point, I got 0.
All right, I will read it twice. Or maybe 3 times, if I need it. Here we go.
All right.
A pair to wreak havoc, we cannot be cleansed. Try to heal or buff, against both we defend. We only convene with an unusual pair, and both are inflicted by bolts through the air. A pair to wreak havoc, we cannot be cleansed. Try to heal or buff, against both we defend. We only convene with an unusual pair, and both are inflicted by bolts through the air.
Ah,
I think
God.
I have... Do I get a half a point if I get half the answer?
I don't know. We would have to ask Tess. She is in the live chat. My internet is sucking and way behind, so I can't even read the god bloody thing. Uh,
I
Ooh,
don't know the
this is-
second half of this one. I can't think of what it could possibly be. I got 2 answers. I don't think the second one is right, but I'm gonna stick to the first one and hope I get half a point. Let me know when you have selected your choices.
Oh. This is tough.
I still don't think my second part of this answer is correct. But I can't think of another one. It's rough. I'm gonna still stick with my 2 answers. What do you got? You got answers?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say Mother Townsend and Spirit.
Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna say Shock and Badstilla's opposite of Battle Meditation, whatever that's called.
Is this supposed to be a specific debuff that we're selecting?
That's my assumption.
Oh.
All right, let's see what the answers are.
Okay. By saying Mother Townsend, I'm clearly talking about Plague, just to be clear. I mean...
Oh, yeah, you totally were. After the, is this beat a debuff question?
Yes.
The answers, it's funny because the answers are Shock and Plague.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, I've... know that it's a debuff, that is... Yeah, that would make sense.
Well, I got half of it, but I don't know if that gets me a half a point. I only got half of the answer, so... I forgot Plague. Is it lightning coming out of Talzin's hands? It is lightning. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about
Like
that.
a bolt of lightning, so that's...
Can't...
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I thought Shock could be cleansed. Huh. Okay. We'll just say we both got it wrong.
I figured we'd both get half a point.
That's fine. I'm still ahead of you by 1.
Yeah. Either way.
All right. Question number Trace.
Okay.
All right, this one's from Wookie Cookie, our good friend. Better than Cup, I give tenacity up along with defense and stun. When my faction should crit, I'm just the right fit, and with Wink, I'll have lots of fun. Better than Cup, I give tenacity up along with defense and stun. When my faction should crit, I'm just the right fit, and with Wink, I'll have lots of fun. Well, that's certainly gonna throw me all off.
Alright, I got my answer.
I don't yet.
I didn't technically write an answer, but I drew an answer.
Well, that makes me very curious. Man, I don't even know. So what do you got?
A picture of a rose.
Ooh, you've been studying her kit this week, haven't you?
I may have looked at it once, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and Wink will have lots of fun. That last bit makes a lot of sense now. Well then. All right. Tesh, I forgot to remove Wookiee's credit. That was me. Well, I'm going to give it to Wookiee anyway. Good job, Wookiee. Zeta Rose.
Nice.
Zeta Rose was the answer.
So we are tied at 1.5 to 1.5.
If we're giving you Plague. But that's neither here nor there.
Are we giving you Shock?
I got Shock. You didn't say Plague. You said Mother Talzin. You picked a character, not a debuff.
Well, I said Plague before you gave the answer, so I'm giving myself
yeah, after I gave my answer, so you're like, oh, it's a debuff. Whatever, we're tied. Question 4. As a pair, we're complete. We have all you could need. From the first time you hit one, a taunt you will send. Automatic assists and 6 different debuffs. Given a certain lead, that is more than enough.
I feel like I should know this.
I feel like I do know it, but I just don't understand how they would do. No, that can't be the answer. Actually, I do have an answer. I got it. I think I know my answer.
I do not know mine. I am sitting here thinking. Trying to get my internet to come up so I can read the bloody thing again. Read it one more time.
As a pair, we're complete. We have all you could need. From the first time you hit one, a taunt you will cede. Automatic assists and 6 different debuffs. Given a certain lead, that is more than enough.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know how long we're gonna give you for this, but
yeah, that's fair. Good grief, yeah, I don't really have a very good idea at all.
I'm gonna blurt out my answer here in a few seconds.
I am totally taking a guess because I have no idea what these characters do. I'm just trying to think of yeah, I don't think this is right.
All right, we'll spit them out because we're out of time for this question.
Basilisk Unfallen and Juhani.
My answer is K2SO and Cassian. Because under a Jin lead, That's a lot of debuffs. My original answer was going to be Chase or Beirut, but they don't throw out enough debuffs. And I'm like, well, who else under a Jin lead would do that? And then I'm like, oh, Cassian, but who would he pair with? Ooh, K2.
Yeah, I could not think of anyone, really.
I haven't shown the answer yet, so I don't even know I'm right. But that's what I
think you're
thought.
right.
It is K2SO and Cassian.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I was just hoping to get Basilisk on Fallen because I was thinking she did a lot of debuffs, but I didn't know who'd pair with her. So,
Or what lead to put her under? I guess maybe Palpatine.
Yeah, probably, I guess. All right.
All right.
Isn't there one more?
I don't know. We will see how many more there are. But we will move on to question 5. Didn't we have like 8 last week? I don't know. Trivia question 5. The surprise of Grand Arena with frequent attacks. My dots will heal if my lead you should max.
Reread it one more time.
The surprise of Grand Arena with frequent attacks. My dots will heal if my lead you should max. I don't know.
Jesus.
I have a guess. I'm not going to say it's even close to being right or not, but I'm just going to jam to this Cantina music.
Yeah, the Cantina music is amazing. My God, I don't know. Wait a second. There's some sort of lead. Crap. I'm not going to be able to think of it, but I kind of remember that there is something.
I'm going to go with Kira.
Yeah, I thought about her, but I don't know how that would work.
I don't know anything about her. I just know she's a surprise.
I will go with
PvP in general.
I will go with Canderous.
Canderous?
Yes.
I'm going to allow you to change that if you want. Do you want to change it?
No.
Okay. Well, Karth is the one with the leader ability, not Canderous. So
I wouldn't have guessed it. I knew it was one of those, or I was thinking that it was one of those characters. I had no idea who. Is that the answer, Karth?
The correct answer is Karth Onasi.
Oh well.
You were definitely on the right track. So
yeah. I was on the right track, just on the wrong train.
All right, let's see if there's a 6. There is a 6. All right.
Ooh, there is another one. All righty.
I'm still only up by 1, correct?
Yes.
All right, question 6. Try to assist, see what should occur. As the Lord of Betrayal, you'll find me quite fatal, and against each other you'll turn.
I have my answer.
I don't.
Really?
I don't.
I'm kind of surprised.
No idea. I mean, Lord of Betrayal should be some kind of hint, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of the triumvirate. So it'd be a 1 and 3 guess. I've got a guess. What's your answer? Or since mine's a guess, I'll answer first. Treya.
That is correct.
Is it?
Yes.
All right. What made you know it so fast? All right. It is Darth Treya.
because she's the Lord of Betrayal, and she has the leader ability when you attack out of turn that you damage yourself.
That makes sense. I was thinking there was something where you lost health for being out of turn, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Indeed. Is there a next question?
There is a next question.
Alrighty.
Here we go. The keystone to some, the engine to others. Put me against Vader, his dots I will smother. My rage will endure as my cooldowns ensure, though I may give pause for my mother. You want me to read it again?
Yes.
The keystone to some, the engines to others. Put me against Vader, his dots I will smother. My rage will endure as my cooldowns ensure, though I may give pause for my mother.
Ooh, I don't know. I want to say one of the dragons, but...
The what?
One of the dragons. Said for my mother. Mother of dragons.
Oh.
Bad Game of Thrones.
You know
Repeat it one more time.
The keystone to some, the engine to others. Put me against Vader, his dots I will smother. My rage will endure as my cooldowns ensure, though I may give pause for my mother.
I don't... Oh! I have my answer. Still thinking?
I'm stuck on Night Sisters.
I don't know how long I want to give you for this.
Well, I've given you lots of time. So, there's that. But
just
I did
use it your line.
I glanced at chat, so I'm not going to answer. I saw the answer. And it makes sense. So.
Did somebody write Kylo?
And they did. I saw OG, not crew. And I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, he's good at... The mother part had me confused.
That's why I was stuck on Night Sisters, and I'm like, Asajj,
yeah.
Does she have an ability that has rage in the name? But yeah. I don't think she does. So, the answer is Kylo Ren. And that's it. So what, we tied, right?
We tied. That hasn't happened in a long time.
It hasn't. I feel okay. I didn't lose, so I'm okay with the tie.
I'm thrilled
that you scored a point this week.
Suck at these. Yes. Yeah, thrilled that I scored any points at all.
Exactly.
All right. Well, for those of you listening on the podcast, this is pretty much gonna wrap things up. Those of you in the live stream, hang around as you get to see me spin some zetas, and of course, discord.me/outororder if you want to come join the chat. Make sure you sub, leave us reviews wherever you'd like, and check out Discord, the shirts. Let us know what you think, and we'll go from there.
So as far as the podcast goes, I want to say thanks for listening, and we will catch all of you later.
Later.
You've just finished with the Shattered Order podcast. Join us next week for another round.
But there's another round coming right now. Very exciting stuff.
We are ready for this other round right now. This is the other Twitch exclusive right here.
Indeed.
So still hanging out. You get to watch Wink. Hopefully get to watch Wink.
Indeed. So, let's see here.
All right, mute your mic in Discord, please, sir, before it drives me nuts.
Good grief. I need you to mute yours as well before it drives me nuts, which you have now done.
I got you, fam.
Alrighty.
Oh, please work. Please work. Please work. We might have to have you switch your internet to see if you can, to see if that one works.
Perhaps.
Alright,
How's it doing?
Yeah, I've got a spinning wheel of fortune here.
Spinning wheel of fortune is not good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna.
Oh, let's see if I can come up with another network.
I'm gonna close this for now and go get another beer. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. I could just hold my phone up to the cam, but that's not really the optimal way to do it. Let's see here. Let's I wonder if my hotspot. Oh, my hotspot's turned off. That's why. All right, let's let's see what happens now. All right, there we go.
All right. I'll pop it back on the screen once we see if it gets going. Oh, Wink's internet is reconnecting. He's back. Well, he was back. He might not be back. Hold on. I'm getting Wink back after he switches his intranet networks. And then we'll see what, he can't move his phone or the hotspot dies. That might be true. Who knows? I'll tell you what. I had the Cox guys come out to my house the other week and look at my internet. I was paying for 150 megabytes up and 10 down and only getting like 30 and 5. The guy did some magic and then I played with my router. Now I'm at the magic speeds that I actually pay for. So we know it's not coming from this side. And I really wish that I could give Wink like 30 megabytes download from mine just so he would be good, but it just doesn't work that way. So what can you do? But I'm working on it. I'm trying to get him back. I really wish you... All right. We're pulling Wink back now. I lost you, but I got you back now. All right, there you are.
Do you see the screen share?
I still don't have the screen share. I'm gonna leave that and call me back on the new one and see what we get.
Okay. Alrighty, let's see if this works.
All right.
What is this thing doing? You did answer?
I did answer.
Like it's still ringing me or something. This is crazy.
Still got the spinning ball of death. So, what I'm going to do...
Oh, there was a second call or something. This thing keeps beeping at me! Mute it! Oh, Jesus. You gotta mute yourself. I'm gonna punch something.
Alright, there you're muted.
Oh,
we might
God.
have to just do the screen thing, but I could make your video picture massive, so If that's what we need to do, then we'll do that.
Horrible sound.
Oh, I can hear you in Discord
all right.
now. No, let's
The
just...
screen isn't working though.
I'm getting massive lag up between Skype and Discord, so I ended the call and I'm going to bring... You're not even moving. I hope you're all enjoying this while we try to get through this.
So I turned my video off and going to audio only there. Maybe that will help send over the video.
I guess we'll see, because your sound is terrible at the moment.
This is disappointing.
Yeah, it should really work.
Alright, if nothing else, here's what I can do. I can record me doing this and then just upload it.
That'll work too, I think.
Alright.
So just record it now, and don't need a bunch of quality. We can put a thumbnail on it, and it'll be great.
Alrighty. Here we go. Let's see.
Maybe you could
go.
give us your video back now, so we can see your face at least while you're doing it.
Okay, that's totally fair. All right, I clicked on rows, and this thing is not wanting to let me put my video back. What in the world?
If I recall him, it'll allow the video back.
There we go.
All right, click the video, get it going. There you are, and there you are. Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, so I am here on Rose Tico. She is level 60. She's got to be level 82 to Zeta.
To get the Zeta, yeah.
Which means 4 million credits.
Beautiful.
Oh, this is.
And how many
gross.
credits for the Zeta? Do you pay credits with Zetas? I don't remember.
I don't. 125,000, I think. Hey, I hit the lotto this week. 12.5 million on the credit highs. Yeah.
I know. I remember you seeing that picture. I was like, you are doing voodoo magic.
I was pretty pumped. I am not gonna lie. Oh god, here it goes. Nope, there's no credits. It's just 20 Zeta Mats, 13 Omegas, and 30 of the other things I don't care about. Ah!
Make sure you're recording, sir.
Alright. Oh, it quit recording. What in the world? I'm glad you said that. Alright. We are recording. Oh, this is gross. Alright. You ready?
I'm ready.
Upgrade.
Put it up to the screen. I want to see.
Oh, that just. Oh. It's so just. It's not rosy at all. It's horrible. It's freaking horrible.
Now you can tell us the thing that we've been talking about might be good forever. So I'm excited about this. And I don't have to do it. I Zeted someone this week. Paplu. All my Ewoks are Zeted now.
That's more exciting than freaking Rose. Well, I do have to thank Tesh, though, for
the olive branch?
For the olive branch, because I do get to Zeta Stormtrooper Han now.
Yeah, that's not half as bad as a character you never use.
I at least like Stormtrooper Han.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I've never had much interest in zetaing him. 5% recovering 5% protection whenever he takes damage. I'll take it. And here it goes. Here it goes. Zeta. And upgrade. And I'm officially Zeta Bro.
I was about to say, how many Zeta matches do you have now?
I still have 37, but God. This is terrible.
I guess you won't be Zetaing General Grievous.
No, probably not. Not now. I do have a Zeta Stormtrooper Han, though. He needs more protection. Good grief, he don't have enough. Now I have to take him to Gear 12, too.
He's pretty easy as far as I remember to get to Gear 12 as well.
He's not too bad, actually.
Yeah, half the time I think I had the stuff for him to get to Gear 12 just sitting around. I just never do it.
You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
There you go.
I'm doing it right here in the video.
All right. Well, I want to say, A, you're a man of your word, but B,
I wish I wasn't.
it's a good look, Tesh, with the olive branch as well. That's
thank you, Tesh.
The Zeta Roulette was pretty fun, actually. That was, maybe you know what? I have 98 mats. Maybe I'll just throw my name in the hat. That would be fun.
Hey, there you go. Not a bad idea.
2 weeks away. We can do the. We can both feel some pain.
Actually, McTweet, I feel okay about it. Stormtrooper Han's been one of my favorite characters throughout the life of this game. I've had more fun using him than just about any other character. So, Stormtrooper Han, I by no means would have ever done it, but Stormtrooper Han earned it.
Yeah, at least
That's
you
how
know he's been used enough to have earned it.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess that wraps up this episode, this mini stream, this whole freaking thing, and I will report back next week on Stormtrooper Han. You can count on that. And,
no Rose? 82
God,
level 82
no.
Rose?
No, hell no. I have 500 Carbonis, and she ain't getting one to get to the next gear level. I don't care.
She needs Carbontes? Yeah, I wouldn't give them to her either. Because apparently I give them all to freaking old Ben. I think between Gear 11...
He's good.
He's
good.
From getting Gear 9 to Gear 10 and Gear 10 to Gear 11, I've used, so far... 300 Carbonis, and I still need 50 to get him to Gear 11. Not happy. That's 2 gear levels. Yeah. That's it. So many Carbonis. So many.
It's a lot.
For a quest. Who cares about quests? What am I doing with my life? And then you tell me that there's a whole nother 4 levels of this quest.
Yeah, it's rough.
You literally burst my bubble tonight with that, and I'm like, Jedi Master Quest? Yes. Is that a thing that exists?
Confused because I didn't know for the longest time, and then I heard about it. I was like, why don't I have my little pictures? When they added the portraits, that's when I figured it out. I think we talked about it on the podcast, but you don't listen when I talk half the time, so I can't. That explains why you didn't know. So it's understandable.
What'd you say?
I said we will catch you guys next week.
All right, everyone. We will see you later.
Later.